Greetings petrolheads, welcome back to Automation, the car company tycoon game. Today I'm gonna show you guys the new 2005 Athena SM. It's the 6th generation, so it's the SM6. And this is how it looks. It is gonna be a competitor for the stronger versions of the BMW 3 Series, because let's be honest, you're gonna look at the SM650 that's coming up and say, well, it's more a rival for the M5, not the M3. But look at the size of the thing. It's the wheelbase is 272. That's pretty much like precisely the size of the 3 Series. So why wouldn't we have a car that's a little bit more powerful? And yeah. First of all, let's look at the car. This one is built on a space frame again, because the space frame is a little bit more suitable for the sportier cars. It's got AHS steel material, double wishbones front, multi-link rear, and then carbon fiber panels, because these will cut down the weight quite significantly and also increase or reduce body roll. So that's gonna improve handling. Now, admittedly, I'd like to only select carbon fiber for the 650 and then aluminum for the 645T, but because that's not an option, and if you're gonna have a platform that has carbon fiber panels, then all versions have carbon fiber panels in this game, so you can't. I would like to make the panels for the normal the 645T from aluminum, and for the 650, which is the performance version, from carbon fiber, but that's not possible. So they're both gonna get carbon fiber panels. So, and why carbon fiber? First of all, these cars are expensive. These cars are meant to be expensive and exclusive and prestigious, and that's why it has carbon fiber. Secondly, as I said, it aids performance. It's there for a reason. And thirdly, the thing is that if I'd even gone with aluminum panels, then the weight would be quite a bit higher, and it would be probably high enough to not make the 650 very competitive against the M3 anymore. So let's talk about design. We have some pretty aggressive headlights. We have dual fog lights down here, giving this car a pretty big boost in terms of passing prowess, if you want to call it that. The Germans say Überholprestige. And of course the bonnet hump also aids that. But I wanted to create some sort of extra lines, some extra depth to this hood, which is otherwise very plain and flat. Therefore I put that on there. And as far as the taillights go, we have some nice sharp aggressive tips here, sharp white tips here. With the white areas are of course going to be the reverse lights. Then we have the red area overall, and you can see 3 circles in there. These two are gonna be like red ones, and this one's gonna be the indicator. So obviously one is like the regular red the regular red taillights. The other one is gonna be the braking light or something like that. You can imagine what I'm on about. Oh, and I forgot that we don't have separate braking lights down here. One thing I would like to point out is that these fixtures, these ones, do get updated very frequently, it seems. And as such, we now also have the option of getting like round ones that, for example, or rounded ones that are rounded in the center, so we could put one of these up here and it would fit very well. We can even put one of these down here. I don't think that's very suitable for this particular car. Looks better up here. Under the bonnet, we have the engine you've already seen last time on the SUV. It's the same 3.5 liter turbo inline 6 with 260 horsepower. Nothing has changed, it's virtually the same. Taken straight from the year 2002. Now it's in this car, and for the first time in a long time, an SM model uses less than 10 liters per 100 kilometers. That's something. That shows how economical, relatively speaking, this engine can be when put into a car that's not, you know, a brick wall like that SUV. And even with 260 horsepower, we will reach 270 kilometers an hour. So that's quite something. Acceleration is certainly nothing to sneeze at either. .5 seconds quarter mile time. You may have noticed quicker shifts. That is because the SM6 will come with a sequential gearbox, a sequential 6-speed gearbox. Don't complain about it. The M3 had an option of getting a sequential gearbox. Even the E36, for that matter, it was rare, and it also came out pretty late for the E36 M3, but it did exist. And that was in like 97, I think, when they introduced it, maybe 96. So by the year 2005, it's not groundbreakingly new anymore. We got medium compound tires on the regular version, 215s front, 235s rear, 18-inch rims, you know, for that extra prestige. Alloy rims, of course, vented discs all around, a fully clad undertray, no cooling flaps in this one. Don't really need it, even though it would help with economy some more. Cooling airflow is low. We got handmade interior again, 4 seats, luxury entertainment, stability control in this one for the first time as well. Hydro pneumatic springs, twin tube dampers, active sway bars, and once more about those carbon fiber panels. Since Athena is owned by AMW, and you know, they get all the money they need for developing great, prestigious, exclusive, high-end luxury cars. Like, there's no point in messing around with like 4-cylinder eco hatchbacks anymore. These cars are meant to be like one step above the norm, and as such, they should get like high quality materials, high tech engines, and everything like that. So yes, this thing is pretty expensive already with the 3.5 liter turbo engine, and some might say too expensive. However, once we get to the 650 and look at its all new 2005 Kronos V8, which is not only from aluminum silicone like before, it also has direct injection. Once we look at that and see that with the 375 horsepower it makes, it'll do 0 to 100 in 4.9 seconds, and which is very much on par with the M3, if not slightly quicker. And unlike the M3, it'll reach 300 kilometers an hour. There, you know, you're gonna see that it'll very much be worth its price. Now this does the quarter mile in 13.3 seconds. Anybody have the numbers for the M3, the E46? I don't know them by heart. And one more thing about thing about the engine. We know that the E46 M3's engine was a 3.2 liter inline six, right? That made 343 horsepower and 365 newton meters at 4,900 RPM. So it made peak torque like there, and it was 365 newton meters. Now let's look at what this engine makes at idle. 367. So at 1000 RPM, this engine makes more torque than the M3's inline six ever makes. So that's the sort of torque you can expect from this thing. The sort of pull getting you out of a hole from a standstill. It'll just surge on forward. So there's no front braking light. Let's fix that. And that's really what this car is gonna be. What this car will do better than an M3. It just has so much torque that you can cruise around in this thing very easily in a high gear. It'll be economical, relatively speaking. Relatively speaking. It'll be quiet and superbly comfortable. Look at that, 55 comfort. That's certainly more than the E46 M3 would make by today's standards, because these numbers are by today's standards. Drivability 56.4 is... You remember the SUV from last episode, right? The one with the 5.5 liter V8 made 57.4 drivability, but that had all-wheel drive and an automatic gearbox. This one with only rear-wheel drive and only two 35mm rear tires, because the arches aren't wide enough, makes just 1 point less in drivability. So this is super easy to drive, and yet it makes all the power in the world. It also has carbon fiber panels, of course. It has a handmade interior. It has 4 seats. It has a 6-speed sequential gearbox, an electric diff, and a top speed of 300 kilometers an hour. And it's gonna cost $72,500. So admittedly that's a lot of money, but you are getting a lot of car for that. And you know, this being able to out-accelerate, I would assume at least out-accelerate an E46 M3 and having a 5 liter V8 in place of an inline 6 in the same kind of car category size-wise, that's pretty cool, isn't it? That is 16.2 seconds from 0 to 200. And that's quicker than an E46 M3. I don't know the number by heart, but it is somewhere in the 17s, I think, if not low 18s. So certainly with this kind of torque and of course the extra power from this V8, this thing is gonna be a true, you know, rocket ship among the mid-sized premium sedans. Although this isn't really a premium sedan anymore, it's a luxury sedan. It's a high-end luxury sedan, but with the kind of performance that you'd get from an M3, but with the luxury that you'd get from a Rolls-Royce. So if you want that sort of combination, then this is the car for you. I hope I've made my point clear now. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Leave a like or a comment if you did. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.